Good stuff. Okay, folks. Look, we get through what we're gonna try and cover inside the 45 minutes tonight. Look, there's no point trying to reinvent the wheel at all in what we're doing here, and anything we put forward to you is here. It's only to aid and assist what you already do. Okay, so I see it myself, be it when I'm training or I've been asked to help any of the teams. We see the work that's going on, and it's fantastic work, and we're definitely considered one of the strongest clubs in Loud at the minute, and that's down to the work that you guys do, and it is fantastic. And anything you see here, it's not black and white. We're not going to force your hand in anything of this. Anything we have sat down to present to you, or anything we're going to put forward to you in 2021, it's only to assist you and try and make your job a little bit more easier and a little bit more enjoyable. Okay, because I seen like even the likes of Stewie last year. I see him running around like a lunatic, and I'm worrying about him. Going, geez, that man looks like he's going to drop on the spot. So he is out of stress and trying to look after everybody. But I said it to him myself in a text message there recently. I'd like to see the likes of Stewie go back to really just focusing about himself and the kids, and enjoying that hour or 2 hours, whatever he has a week up on the pitch, looking after his own kids and the kids that come to train at that age group. So just on that point there, we decided we'd put together a coaching committee, and the reason why we kind of put together a coaching committee would be my role or my day job is working as a Leinster GDA, and a Leinster GDA, for anyone that doesn't understand, is basically going out and assisting GA clubs in Loud and doing my very best to try and assist them as best I can, be it with coaching, be it with mentoring roles with coaching, be it putting structures together. Could be anything you can think of that's involved with basically underage GA. So I deal with coaching officers on a daily basis, and a lot of them don't fully understand what's involved in the role. And me personally, don't believe it's a one-person job. So, and especially not with the club size of the club we have. So we decided to put together a bit of a team just to ease the burden of what the job is, to make sure there's no roles that's being ignored, or basically just to try our best to improve everything that's already there. Okay, so what our role is basically is to coordinate an efficient running of a child and youth section of the club by developing correct structures for players and coaches to achieve maximum potential. Okay, so everything we do has the coach and the player at the center of it. Okay, we can put everything together for you, but if we don't get buy-in from volunteers, then nothing works for us that we're trying to do. The club will still run on as normal, but if we're looking to improve and not just be the best club in Loud, well, why not achieve best club in Leinster or best club in Ireland? Okay, that's ultimately what my goal is when I'm doing this, to try and improve Naomh Mairtin where I can. Okay, and I sit in meetings every day of the week where coaches from other clubs go, I know this is not Naomh Mairtin, but we struggle here. So we are being held up pretty high esteem. Okay, you mightn't realise that when you're inside it, but from people on the outside, Naomh Mairtin looks like paradise to everybody else. Okay, and that's down to the volunteer work you guys have done in the past number of years. So, what our plan is for 2021, okay? We're looking to put together, as Stewie said, a coach pathway, a player pathway, and a team structures, okay? So a lot of the stuff you'll see is stuff you might have heard before, okay? So as I said at the start, we're not reinventing the wheel, okay? So what is a coach pathway? A coach pathway is kind of a coach development plan for our coaches to allow them personal progression over the season, okay? And speaking to Ollie beforehand, that photo of Alan just kind of sums up what a coach should be. Okay, there's a smile on his face, there's a smile on the kid's face. Such a positive, and just one photo you can see such a positive environment. Okay, and I'm sure if you ask Alan, he absolutely loves training the kids, and you can see in the background there how much the kids love training with him. Okay, so there's nothing that I'm going to put forward to you here tonight that is going to hinder that. Okay, everything we put forward here tonight is here to try and enhance basically that picture, okay, to make sure everybody has that experience when we're up in Naomh Mairtin. Okay, so just the first step was the coach pathway. So on the coach pathway, coach education is vital. Okay, so I got an audit. Naomh Mairtin got an audit done this year on coach education and how many courses our coaches have partaken in. And 38% of our active coaches have completed the foundation level. 20% have completed the level 1, and 0% have completed the level 2. Okay, that is your coach pathway there in a nutshell. Okay, in regards to coach education, 42% of our active coaches don't have any coaching qualification. Okay, just let that sit in there for a second. 42% of our active coaches don't have any coaching qualification. Okay, a foundation course is 3 hours online. It's a 3-hour practical. Okay, when I say 6 hours altogether, I'm loosely saying 6 hours altogether. Trust me, I'm the one that gives the courses in their area. So 6 hours is loosely said 6 hours. Okay, but it's well spent time when you're doing it. Okay, just even for little tips on how to even control a group that you're involved in, or even just go into a nucleus of coaches that are like-minded and similar positions to you that you can interact with and bounce questions off. Okay, a level 1 for anyone that doesn't know is 7 sessions of 2.5 hours. So it's usually Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and then a final day that fits in. Okay. In past experiences, the club usually cover the cost of these. Okay, I think if I'm wrong, Paddy and Ollie will jump in there, but usually the club tend to look after these. So if you are interested in these sort of things, you are well looked after and it's time well spent. Okay, so this was our order. Okay, so since 2009, 52 coaches went through coaching courses. Okay, so either your foundation, your level 1, and your level 2. 52 coaches. Last year in the juvenile section, there was 34 coaches involved last year. So since 2009, 12 years ago, 52 coaches sat through courses. Last year, there was 34 involved. Okay, so you can see the amount of coaches that might have come through the club there that hasn't gone through to any of these courses. Okay, even just to think to yourself, we have 4 level 2 coaches in the club since 2009. I wonder, do you know who any of them are? Are they someone that you might want to bounce questions off when you're doing it? Okay, have a think and see, do you know who it is? Okay, so there's Jim. I see Jim logged in earlier on. Jim is probably our best example, and Martin of coaches that have came from. I think Jim might have been over a team up until I think it was minor maybe, and then he went on to take on the senior manager role. And to be fair, and I think a lot of people agree, he's probably been the best manager the club has had, definitely in my time anyway. Okay, it just came from passion from the man working in the club, and I know it's a passion that everybody on this call has. And if he didn't have it, I don't think he'd be sitting here on a Friday even listening to me. Okay, so a proposed coach ed schedule. Okay, so in January, Friday 29th, that's today, we've had our first meeting. So then if you go into February, we have a couple of Wednesday nights set up. Okay, now not everybody has to attend these, but everybody's welcome. All right, a club philosophy one. Okay, that's next Wednesday coming. It's a very similar setup tonight, except it's a lot more interactive. Okay, it's not just one person talking. There's a lot of interacting going on, and basically we're trying to discuss what our club philosophy is. The following Wednesday, then we're going to look at a little workshop just to give tips and ideas to head coaches. The following Wednesday, the 17th, it'll be tips and ideas for managers, and then the last Wednesday in February, we're going to do the online foundation award part 1. Okay, so that's a 3-hour online. You do it at your own pace. It's kind of like watching a YouTube video and you're just answering questions as you go. Okay, very simple. If you don't have it, I'd highly recommend doing it. Okay, the first Wednesday in March, we'll have a goalie workshop. Okay, I know there was definitely three goalie coaches that would have signed up to a volunteer list. Okay, so that's something that we didn't really have last year. That is a plus and a positive going into 2021. Okay, so we've 3 goalie coaches that can work with our goalies throughout all the age groups. Okay, the following Wednesday in March, then we're looking at S&C coaching, and then to finally get your foundation award, you actually have to sit your safeguarding course. All right, that's another online 3-hour scenario paid for by the club. But I think Paddy will maybe throw into the text box there as I'm talking, but I'm pretty sure every coach actually has to have the safeguarding done to be dealing with kids. All right, so just to cover yourself and the club, make sure you get signed up in the next coming weeks for that safeguarding course. And then at the end, obviously, the second part of foundation is involved with you kind of have to, it's practical. So it's just dependent on COVID and when we can get onto the pitch. And then later on in the summer, we'll have a level 1 lined up for you too, if you are looking to do that. Okay, so our player pathway. Player pathway is different phases of player development and a guide for our coaches to create age-appropriate activities for our players. Okay, so basically that tourist sign you see there, I'm sure you would have seen it. Our club GDA, Sean Han, hopefully would have spoke about, which is it's just a player pathway. It's a journey our players go on, and it's just for coaches to make sure they are coaching age-appropriate stuff. So what I mean by age-appropriate stuff is not trying to coach a sweeper system to the nursery team. Okay, that of course isn't age-appropriate. All right, so just making sure we're doing the right stuff at the right time to aid the development of these players. Okay, our coach pathway plans. Okay, to implement a tourist pathway, and when I say implement, I just want our knowledge to just be a little bit more. It's hard to. I'd like people to just take on board the tourist pathway and make sure that we are coaching and not getting bogged down and worried that our underrates can't coach or can't solo with both feet by the end of the year. Okay, it's age appropriate stuff. Yes, we can introduce them to soloing at under 8 years of age, but for them to do it efficiently off both feet is not important until later on. Okay, so just even having that knowledge in your own mind should just ease the stress and ease the worry that you actually have as a coach. All right. Another part of the coach pathway we have is the mentoring group. Okay, so basically a mentoring group is someone that is going to be there's a group of us that's going to be going around just helping you. If you have any questions, such as, oh, listen, I struggle controlling the group. Is there anything I can do? The belt and balls around anywhere. It's just someone to have a bit of a conversation with to try and help you improve as best you can. Then install our new team structure. Okay, so our new team structure is I'm going to explain to you as we go on here. Okay, and when I speak about new team structure, as I said, I spoke to a couple of coaches recently. It's not black and white. This is me not saying if you're a manager you can't coach, or this is and vice versa, that if you're a coach you can't look after other parts of the squad. Okay, it's just role responsibility and everybody understanding what their role is within Naomh Mairtin and Naomh Mairtin's underage structure. Okay, so basically the new team structure is a manager, a head coach, and assistant coaches. So I'll break down again what that is. So a manager's role is, I call it the Jim Farr role. So something that he probably introduced to me anyway would be understanding how important organising a team is between fixtures, pitch bookings, planning, one-to-one with players, one-to-one with um, parents, registration of players, equipment, building relationships, basically. Okay, and some people excel in this, and these are the people we want to be basically taking on the role of looking after the team and giving all our players every chance they can to succeed. Okay, and I like to bear in mind that if you take on to be a manager, that does not mean you can't be involved in coaching, but it does mean that you understand what your role is. Okay, your job would be then to look after what you see in the screen. Okay, build a relationship with the players, the families, the club, making sure everything runs smoothly for the team. That there's no problems, there's no double pitch bookings or anything you can think of. Okay, to me that is possibly more important than coaching. I know a lot of people could disagree and have their own opinions on any of them things. Everything becomes a mess. Okay, so we look to have a manager with every underage squad. Okay, now bear in mind there could be 2 or 3 or 4 people that's with a squad. Might be just 2 people that's with a squad. Okay, but there has to be someone that looks after these specific roles. Our head coach. Our head coaches will be responsible for the weekly on-field development of our players. Head coaches show enthusiasm towards coaching and willingness to attend workshops and seminars throughout the year. Okay, so just going back onto our coach ed schedule, our head coaches will be definitely people who are going to be looking to go through the level 1, the level 2, to be really engaging with us in regards making sure the right sessions are there for the players, Head coach doesn't necessarily mean they're the one that takes on absolutely everything on the field either. A head coach should be someone that makes sure that the session is planned in advance of turning up. Gone are the days of arriving 2 minutes before the session takes place, and everybody has different opinions about what we're going to do in this session, and or the head people. I see a lot of people that would be considered a head coach would be someone that's the loudest. That doesn't mean they're the best at coaching. Okay, the loudest. Oh yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, go out. Right, laps, lads. That's not what we're looking for. A head coach is someone that's going to facilitate good training sessions for the team. Okay, speaking with the manager, speaking with the assistant managers. All right, guys, what do we need here? How do we make this session as fun and as fun as and worthwhile as possible for these players? Okay, so age appropriate sessions, a support group, and consistent upskilling for themselves. Okay, and our assistant coach. Our assistant coach, and I know I'm speaking to a lot of people in the club, and a lot of people, like, assistant coach can fall under a lot of things where somebody could be just really busy. They could work on a farm that they might not necessarily be able to fully commit to every Thursday night at a certain time. That work might not necessarily just allow them to be hugely reliable in regards looking after training sessions and stuff like that. Or they could be a person that's still playing themselves. Okay, a lot of people that's put their name forward this year that are still playing and they want to get involved. But I'm putting a structure, or we are putting a structure in place now that these people can come and help us. So I see the likes of Owen Callahan there that signed in there this evening. He wants to get involved, but he also does a lot of training himself. But if I tell Owen that this is the team that he's involved with, let's say for instance it's under 12s. Okay, so Owen, you're with your liaise with the head coach and the manager and the assistant coaches and see when you can be there. And even if it's once a month, having one of these the current stars involved with these underage teams is crucial. It's crucial, and even just for different voice or different ideas on one night a month. I know, like, you've Mary Claire, Yvonne, and Claire there with the ladies team as well, Mary McKeever. Like, this is a hugely important role in the club as well, and it's great to have all these people on board as well, along with uh, the the full-time volunteers, as you call them, the managers, the head coaches. Okay, so all they're doing is trying to put a bit of a structure together for everybody to get involved and to understand what the roles are of each other and what's expected of them within Naomh Mairtin. Okay. So can we basically, this is our aim and our vision, and this is what, as a club, as a charity, we should be thinking about all the time. And this is what Naomh Mairtin should be aiming to achieve. Can we create a structure that does not rely on individual personnel, such as a manager of a team or a coaching officer? Okay, our roles are clear on what is expected. Personnel can change, but our coaching structure stays the same. Our coaching structure is created for maximum efficiency and transparency, which gives our club, Naomh Mairtin, a greater chance of success. Okay, just going back onto the first line there, when I mentioned Stewie been worked off his feet last year, running around, stressing, trying to direct people, trying to look after the kids that's in his team, trying to help out as best he can. Okay, can we create a structure that does not rely on an individual person, such as the manager of a team or a coaching officer? Okay, in my job, I see people in clubs that put in so much work and just burn out or disappear or just find being involved in these sort of environments too stressful, too much thought has to go into it, and it's not enjoyable for them. Okay, by putting all this together, we're trying to create a structure that does not rely on one person. So if that person does want to step away for a couple of years, we can bring somebody else in to replace them, and it's just the wheel just keeps turning. The wheel just keeps turning. If that person wants to take a year out, brilliant, no problem. They know when they come back in, there's a place for them. All right, and that's what we're trying to achieve here. Okay, so coming soon. We're getting to the end now. There's not much left, folks. Just 2 points. Coming soon. What we're trying our very best to create is a coach's shared folder and a coach's notepad. Okay, so this is stuff that we're trying to create to try and ease or trying to make what you do in the club just that little bit easier and pain-free and a little bit more. And the coaches folder is we've already started it. It's at the very early stages yet, but it's available to use and for anyone that wants to see it the minute. Long-term goals with the coaches shared folder is possibly have an app. So if you can imagine an app on your phone, you click in and this is what you see. Okay, your player pathway sessions. Okay, and in your player pathway session, this all works alongside our player pathway. So when you open your folder or your link, which is what it is at the minute. That's what it is. It's a folder. It's a link that I can send through WhatsApp. Then when you click into this, you can click into any of these folders. Okay, so your nursery group, your under 8s, 10s, the whole way up to under 18s. Okay, and in these folders, follow our player pathway. So there'll be a heading in each folder. So it'll be a physical fitness, tactical, team play, and tactical. These are all areas that every single player has. Okay, every single player, you got to work on their physical fitness. You got to work on their tactical, their technical, and their team play. Okay, so if you look at that picture now of tourists, that is your tourist cards that you might have seen before. If you want them, they're in this folder as well. I'll go back and show you. Down at the very bottom of number 2 there, you click into that. There's every age tourist club player pathway. There's stuff on the front and back. On the back, there's session planners, and the front exactly what a player is. Okay, so if you look at the outside circle here of the pizza pie in the middle, you have your headings, your technical, your tactical, your team play, and your physical fitness. Okay, that's what our sessions should be based around. Okay, I'm not going to get too into it. That's for another time. But that's what our cards are, and they're there for you all to use to try and help you understand. Okay, so when you click into one of these physical fitness or technical, okay, this is what you see, number 3. Okay, it'll be sessions. So session 1, session 2, session 3. Okay, all individual sessions based around on this one in particular. Is tactical pathway session. It's under 12 and it's tactical, and there's 3 of them there to choose. Okay, when you click into one of them folders, you'll have there your PDF, your kick pass session plan handwritten out, and then you have the green fields at the bottom. So basically every drill. So it's a little short video clip. It could be 12 seconds long or 20 seconds long. Okay, but basically it explains exactly what every drill is. All right, and over time, as a club, we would hope to keep adding to this. That it's only going to get stronger the more we put back into it. Okay, it's only going to get stronger the more we put into it. Okay, and that is going to be a role of our head coaches, is to over time just keep adding and adding to that structure. Of it has to be one a week or one a month. It's just when you're free, right, send it on. We'll put it into the folder, because if you're the under 12 coach and you get fed up and you can't do another year of the coaching, or you can't do it due to work or whatever reason, you can step aside. We can move another head coach in, and all of a sudden all these sessions are here for the coaches to use. Okay, so I'm going to ask Ollie to check my time here. 29 minutes, brilliant, since we started, folks. That is more or less the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, throw them into the comment box. Anything that we ask in regards stuff like this, meetings and stuff like this, I fully understand people have other stuff going on, and they definitely don't want to listen to Craig Lynch talk for 1 minute, let alone 45 minutes. Okay, but when I'm doing, I fully understand that people have stuff to do, and I will keep it as short as I possibly can, and I'll only be doing something if it's a benefit to you guys. Okay, so hand it over to you, Ollie.
Okay, thanks a million, Crouchy. And look, you can see the amount of work that's gone into that, and particularly from Crouchy himself. I think it's a brilliant resource for all of us. And one of the big learnings that I would have had, I'm 5 years now coaching with the club, and I think John will agree, from the first session we did with our kids, they're 12 now, but when they were 7 years old, there was 27 of them screaming at us. We about 4 or 5 balls and a couple of cones, and it was a very stressful situation to be in. So to have these resources there then would have made a massive difference to us. The big thing I'd be asking here is there's a lot of experience. There's a lot of experienced coaches within the club that could really help and mentor coaches that are just starting their journey now, and that's something we need to try and develop among ourselves and among the WhatsApp group. But these folders, the plan, I think Crouchy will agree, that the plan is that every coach will help contribute to these folders. They might send their coaching plan onto Crouchy or the coaching committee, and we'll then set up the videos for the next coach coming behind you, that they can use it. So it'll be constantly developing. The big thing is we need input from yourselves, but we also need suggestions from yourselves on how to improve it. We're only going to focus on 2 main things this year. That's populating that online coaching folders, and the second thing is a coaching folder, an actual handheld coaching folder for coaches, where it'll have team sheets, it'll have attendance sheets, it'll have a number of different things that we think would be useful to you to have for every session. So that's it, folks. If you have any questions or queries on this, we'd love to hear from them. You can either talk there or put a question in. Okay.
And if you have nothing to say either, feel free to hang up, and we're not going to be offended.
Look, Craig and Ollie and guys, I'd just like to thank you for the work you have done so far. And just basically, as you said before, this is not just the committee, to everyone out there, it's not just the committee, these 5 or 6 people, these 6 people put together, it's everyone. And the stronger the club will be if the more people participate and try and push this club on as far as possible. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, Stuart. That's a great point. We're only
just on our meeting, Ollie, Wednesday night. So it's going to be a similar setup to tonight. I'll put a link into the coaches WhatsApp group. If you want to take part in the club philosophy, there's no pressure on anybody to do it. If you want to take part in it, it's just a case of sending in your email, and I'll send you a link very similar tonight.
And look, I would ask you if you can at all to take part in it, because it's a massively important thing. I know there's buzzwords flying around all the time when it comes to coaching, but the philosophy of the club is something that no coaching committee or 2 or 3 people can come up with. It has to come from all the people involved in the club, or as many people as possible involved in the club. We want to make sure that our kids and the kids coming behind us are going to have a fun, enjoyable experience in playing football for Naomh Mairtin. It's a brilliant club to be involved with. I think we're all lucky to have it on our doorstep, but it's important that we grasp this now while we can, and make it the absolute best that we can make it for our kids and for the future generation to come behind us as well. So I would encourage you strongly to try and make the time to attend that meeting. There's an awful lot of information given out today. It's very, very straightforward. There's clear steps though involved in all this. And if you have any questions or queries, or want to contact us directly or by WhatsApp or privately, feel free to do so. There's no hassle there. So if anybody has any questions, ask them now, or else we'll call it a day. We'll give it a couple of seconds though.
Sorry, Ollie, I'll just come in briefly before everyone goes. Look, I was talking to Crouchy and yourself during the week, and I think that the resources that you have set up there and are unbelievable. Really, is make life easier for a lot of coaches coming forward, and even sometimes when you're looking to kind of come up with some ideas on how to solve a problem, just having that tactical pad and having access to that folder is going to really help everyone. I suppose the structures make sense to divide the labour up and to give different people a different role. I suppose from my own point of view, I suppose I'd like to just learn a little bit more about what way you want to manage the communications, kind of what way you want to manage the communications, that you're not having too many lines of communication open, and maybe that there's something going on in a particular age group that say the manager of the team mightn't know about. So I just think that that's probably something to be careful about, that there's something going on in a particular age group, and people who probably need to know don't know. So if like I would probably suggest that even if it's a coaching issue and you're necessarily going to talk to the coach, that you probably go to the manager, divert to the coach, and maybe come back up through that way. But that's just to throw that out there at yourselves. But I do think that what you're actually coming up with is a very good it's a very good plan, and it probably just needs a little bit, for me, just a little bit more understanding of how exactly it would work. But fair play and congratulations to everyone who's involved in that.
Thanks very much, John. And that's a great point. Like, it is something that we're going to have to talk through with the coaches, is the line of communication on this. Like, we're not, the plan isn't to be telling anybody what to do. The plan is to get the coaches' feedback and the coaches to tell us what they want. And that's why we put out the SWOT analysis earlier in the year, was to see what did they think was missing. And I think if you're looking at best practices and you're looking at successful clubs around the country, not just the county, these are the sort of structures they're putting in place. They're fluid. They're going to be involving everybody. We have Yvonne there from the ladies' side. We have Paddy as child welfare officer. We have Sam, who's playing football and a health and fitness chap, and we have Crouchy, who's is already in the Leinster coaching setup. So, like, we're very, very lucky. There's another 10 or 20 people that we could easily get involved in here, and we will be as the weeks and months go on. We're going to need help on this, but we also will need input from yourselves as well as to what exactly you want to get done and you'd like to see done. We could look at starting a wish list and ticking off things as we go along, but for now we're going to focus on these two things. I think if we achieved the coaching folder and the tactical pad as a start off for this year, it's a great step forward. This is something that's going to be fluid, that we're going to be moving on every year. So that's all I'd say on that. But thanks very much, John, for coming back to us on that. And that's something we will have to look at as well. I agree with you. Okay, folks. I think that's it for tonight. Thanks very much for taking time out of your Friday evening. You could easily be down in the pub or in our nightclub at this stage on a Friday evening. So I appreciate that.
I have a question.
Decided this is more important.
Hang on, Ollie. Hang on.
Alan Dowling here. I have a question for you. I just missed the link of how you get into that folder that Craig had up earlier.
Alan, that folder is it's basically just a link through WhatsApp, so I can throw it into the coach's WhatsApp now as soon as this is over. It's going to take I'm sure there's going to be teething problems and access problems, but we'll get there. It as I said, it is in early stages, and it's going to just get better and stronger the more we go. But yeah, I'll just send it on to the coach's WhatsApp when this meeting's over, and you can flick around with it.